Hello everyone, Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching. I have another Monday quarterback video for you. I'm going to play this video and talk about things that are going on, to explain what's going on, and talk about things that I think that are being done right and or done wrong. This video does not have a spokesperson for it. This incident occurred with the Maricopa Police Department, but the investigation was done by the Pinel. I don't know how it's pronounced. I've never heard it pronounced. It's P-I-N-A-L. Pinel County Sheriff's Office. These two agencies apparently had a joint press release where they released this footage, but I cannot find that footage on either of their YouTube page. And instead, this footage comes from inmaricopa.com news entity. So I'll play this footage, and then we'll go from there. All right, so I'll tell you what, I'll read briefly from this article, and then talk a little bit more, because I think some of this is important to know. So blah 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 talks about the thing happening. Blah blah blah. So this guy, Brian Simmons, had a history of bizarre behavior around the city, and police have been called to his home numerous times, so many that the video shows officers greeting him by name when they arrive about 10:30 a.m. in response to a noise complaint. They show officers' initial contact with Simmons, age 38, who is in his driveway, strewn with belongings, loud music blaring. Simmons and his dog walk out to the middle of the street where several police vehicles are parked. An officer greets him. "Brian, how are you?" Brian high-fives an officer, another heard saying to him, "How's it going, Brian?" He elbow bumps another officer and says to another, "Give me a hug." All right, so they've been there multiple times.
It's a cute dog. How's it going, Brian?
Give me a hug.
How's it going, man? How's it
It's, okay.
going, Brian?
Give me a hug.
How's it going, man?
Hey, Raz. Hey, you're gonna turn now? Yep. See everyone ready for their weapons now. Oh, this motherfucker pick up a Hey, Brian! Put them down! No! No!
So he's picked up a gun.
Drop the gun, Brian!
Go! Come towards me! Put it down!
Brian, put them down now!
Ryan, you gonna have a fucking problem today.
He
Put that down now!
He has two handguns right by his side. Can get additional?
Put the axe down, Brian!
Get your rifle.
Get over here!
No! Stay on the ground now! Get on the ground! No! Move from those guns now! I'm letting you know! Ryan! Listen to me, you pick up that weapon, I'm going to shoot you!
So we can have another car.
I'm letting you know, you pick up that weapon, I'm going to shoot you! Stand up now! That's right, right?
Yeah, I got this.
I'm warning you!
Here, just I'll go get mine.
Shouldn't walk.
Here, I'll go get mine.
He has two guns. He just put them on the ground. He's moving away from them.
All right. So he's recognized the fact that he needs a rifle for this incident. So this incident has now turned into something that could be deadly physical force. This guy could start shooting at them, and the best thing to have in a gunfight is a rifle. So they initially came to this call as a noise complaint. They've dealt with this guy multiple times. So obviously, at the beginning of it, they're not going to be getting rifles out or anything like that. That'd be unnecessary. But now it's totally changed. Guy's got a gun. He's fucking bizarre, obviously. And you don't know what he's going to do. He could start shooting. And when those incidents go kinetic, the best thing to have is a rifle. A rifle is more accurate and it has better incapacitating power. The rifle has a longer barrel and multiple points of contact. It has more than 2 points of contact to be able to further stabilize that platform and limit the most amount of movement in the overall system so that further increases its accuracy. A pistol, it has a very short barrel and you only get 2 points of contact. Your dominant hand and your non-dominant hand. You don't have a stock on it, so you can't get a cheek weld, can't put it into your shoulder or anything like that. So the littlest amount of movement within a pistol can throw your shot placement way off. The terminal ballistics between the two are night and day. All pistol calibers suck. Can they cause incapacitation? Yes, they can, but sometimes it requires more of those rounds to do that, and it's not always immediate. With a rifle, most of the time, it can be immediate, and it takes fewer rounds to achieve the desired effect. It may take you 1 to 3 rifle rounds center mass to rapidly incapacitate a threat, whereas with a pistol, it may take 5 to 12 rounds center mass to even incapacitate a threat. So good on him for getting that rifle for this scenario. You'll also notice this rifle has a silencer on it. Rifles should have certain things on them. A rifle should have a red dot sight or holographic sight, whatever. It should have, and of course with that, that also means it's going to have backup iron sights, obviously, right? I shouldn't have to mention that, but unfortunately, some people think they can just throw a red dot on the gun and there's no other backup to it. That's not smart. So on top of a red dot, that means it's going to have its backup iron sights on there. But red dot sight, a weapon-mounted light, and I believe that all fighting guns should have weapon-mounted lights on them. A sling. You got to have a sling on a rifle. A sling on a rifle is like a holster for a handgun. And then a silencer. The silencer is going to help you protect your hearing in the short term and in the long term aspect. Rifles produce very loud noises. The sound decibel is very high on rifles. It can cause hearing damage, especially if you're indoors. Pistols can too, but rifles, of course, there's more bang going on with a rifle. So as far as hearing damage goes, in the long term, it can help you reduce hearing damage long term. Like several years down the road, you have hearing loss because of the loud noises that you've been exposed to. Hearing damage sucks. I have hearing damage because I was dumb when I was younger, wearing headphones, full blast music, and sometimes shooting guns without hearing protection and being around explosions and loud music. It's kind of fucked my ears a little bit. So there's a lot of times I'm like, huh? What? What'd you say? You say it one more time? One more time. I didn't get that. One more time. That shit sucks. For the short term benefit of it, again, it saves your hearing. So if you've ever shot a rifle without ear pro, you could have immediate ringing of the ears. And that's also something you can get long-term wise too. Like I sometimes have random tinnitus where my ears just ring, and that sucks ass. Like I could be in my room and no TV on, nothing, just laying there on the phone, whatever, and then out of nowhere, just a beep, just a fucking ringing in the ear. Like that shit sucks dick. But in the short term, you fire a gun off like that, you can get ringing of the ears, and that can make it difficult for you to hear things. Especially when you're indoors, because then that makes it even worse. While you're actively shooting the gun or other people are shooting the guns, you can still effectively communicate because the sound is being suppressed. It's not super fucking loud to where you have to be screaming on a bullhorn to someone to understand what the hell they're talking about. While someone's shooting a rifle multiple times, you can just talk in a loud voice to the person nearby and they're going to understand exactly what you're saying. None of your ears are going to be ringing or anything like that. You're just kind of having to talk over a little bit of a loud noise. But you can still talk. You can still hear radio traffic. So its benefits in the short term and long term are super great. Of course, agencies are going to be able to get those a lot more easily than just regular citizens. Agencies still have to go through a kind of a process to acquire these things. There's paperwork and stuff involved, but it's nothing like what a citizen has to go through. These things are regulated by the same laws that regulate belt-fed machine guns, so you have to go through that same process. If you want to own a belt-fed M60 machine gun, you got to go through the same bullshit process to own a silencer. You got to be fingerprinted. You got to have this background check done on you, and you're going to be waiting a long time to take possession of that silencer after you've bought it. So right now, today, you could go to a gun store that sells silencers. They have a little kiosk where you do your fingerprints and everything there, take the passport quality photo, all that good shit, pay for everything right there, and it will take you probably a year to be able to take that can home with you. In the meantime, it has to sit there at the gun store. Everyone refers to this as the NFA jail. So you can own them, but it takes a while to be able to take possession of them. But I really think that they are a necessary piece of equipment to go on a rifle, a fighting rifle. Silencer is just the name that was on the patent when it was invented, and it's on, of course, the ATF paperwork. Silencer is not really an accurate word for it, I don't think. A lot of people call it suppressor, and that's a more realistic term because that's what it realistically does. It just suppresses the sound. There is no silencing of the sound whatsoever. A suppressed rifle is still fucking loud. It's just not as loud. Even pistol caliber stuff still makes a loud noise. Some of them, I think, kind of sound like paintball guns or like nail guns, like some kind of like pneumatic gun or whatever. It still makes a distinctive loud noise. You're going to hear it, but it's just not, explosively loud. All right, moving on.
Brian! Brian! Let me see your hands! Hey! Brian! Put your hands up where I can see them. Put them up.
Come on, Brian.
They're right there, one on the right side and one on the left side, just by his hands.
Brian, don't go inside. Brian! you walk back there? Hey, bring one of those cars up. Right there. They're both right there on the backs. They're right there by the chair. One is in the bucket, the other one's on the, not in the garage. Get on the ground, Brian! Get on the ground, man! Brian, we will shoot you! Brian? Brian, you've been calling us! Brian, stay right there! Get on the ground, Brian! Get on the ground!
So back it up a little bit. What he has right here is a less lethal shotgun. You can usually tell these are less lethal based off it having a bright colored pump and also a stock as well. Sometimes they're orange, sometimes they're yellow, sometimes they're like a neon green sort of color. It just fires like a little cloth bag filled with lead shot in it, and the bag will just impact really hard against a person, but obviously it's not going fast enough to be able to penetrate skin and kill them. It's just a pain compliance weapon. So that's what he hits him with, try to gain compliance out of him. Unfortunately, because it's a pain compliance weapon, not everyone complies with it when they're hit with it. They can fight through that pain. But you can tell that it obviously has an effect on him because he doesn't stand there any longer. He moves away from it.
Brian? Brian, you've been calling us! Brian, stay right there! Get on the ground, Brian! Get on the ground! Brian, get on the ground! Get on the ground! Get on the ground, Brian! He's going inside. Look out.
I don't want them coming over the wall. Have him go to the side over there.
Here, just hold. I'll pull my car to the side.
Get back inside!
Hey, Sarge. We need to try and get a shield so we can get those weapons.
I don't want to go there because if you have a rifle, the shield ain't going to shoot first.
Oh! Shit! He's got a shotgun!
Shots fired, shots fired. Well, that pellet's caught me.
Hey, put me a magazine.
Huh?
Put me a magazine from that bag.
Here, just take mine. I took one of your magazines, Sarge. 213 copy. He's on the side of the house. Two out of 13. 10-4. I shot 3 rounds inside the gate. He fired a shotgun at us.
You want to run to the phone? Shots fired on the board. Rifle shots. Shots fired from the house.
Sam Cruiser, that was me firing shot in return. Hey, put me a magazine.
Huh?
Put me a magazine from that bag.
Here, just take mine.
All right. So he, I don't know if he ran to bolt lock or not, or if he just knew that he fired quite a few rounds and he wanted to do a reload. But he had to go to another spot to get that reload. So it looks like, I'm assuming this is probably his truck, and he has put that rifle bag or whatever to the front of the hood of this vehicle, which is what that other officer is using to use like a shooting pad. Let me hit play so I can try to...
Hey, put me a magazine. Put me a magazine for that.
No. Yeah, well, I can't see it very well from this one, but the other officer that we see from on the front of this hood, he has that rifle bag, I guess you could call it, right there in front of him. And so I'm assuming he's probably using that like a pad. Probably the top of the hood of that car is scorching fucking hot. And he's trying to lean out across the, the hood of the vehicle, use his arms, to quote unquote sandbag it, I guess you could say, to make the rifle more stable. But obviously, you can't lay your exposed arms across the black hood of a vehicle under the fucking Arizona sun. It's going to be super hot. But that's, I guess, where he has his extra magazines at. So he has to get an extra magazine for a reload. And let me play it to pause it. There we go. Sometimes I hate how I wish I could make it skip second by second instead of having it do multiple seconds at a time. But anyway, sometimes you may not have the ability to quickly put on a plate carrier, or you may not have the ability to quickly grab a go bag that may have additional magazines in it, whatever. So this is where I think that the practice of having an additional magazine on the rifle is of a huge benefit. This is where I recommend a mag coupler. And this is what I do. I have a mag coupler, so I have two rifles on the mag. I'm sorry, two mags on the rifle. That way, if I have to suddenly grab that rifle and go, and that's all I can go with, then I've at least got two magazines on board to deal with shit. That second mag is not so much for in case I run to bolt lock on that first one. It's really there because of the likelihood that there's a magazine-related problem that causes some type of feeding issue within the gun. Most of the time, the issues with a gun not going bang is going to be magazine-related. So I can do a magazine change right there on the spot, put that new one in, and hopefully the gun will start running smoothly at that point. If I do end up going to bolt lock, then of course all I got to do is drop, move to the side, insert, and voila, I've got a reloaded rifle ready to go. If I've fired quite a few rounds, or if I think that I may have fired quite a few rounds, then I can, when I want to, when it's safe to do so, when there's a lull in the fight, I can go ahead and do a reload right there and have a fresh mag in the gun ready to go if the fight starts off again. If you don't go the mag coupler route, you can get a magazine pouch that fits on the stock of the rifle, and that's an emergency magazine right there on the gun in case you need it. Some people will carry a rifle magazine on the duty belt, just one. I'm not the biggest fan of that. I think that's just carrying a lot of unnecessary weight the majority of the time, considering the fact that obviously these shootings don't occur that much. So to me, it just doesn't make sense to carry something for something that is statistically not likely to happen to me. Now, with that being said, there is increased, chances of these things happening a little bit more than probably in the past. But still, even then, I don't carry a rifle mag on the duty belt. I don't see the need in it. I do the mag coupler. I got two mags on the rifle ready to go. And I also keep a tourniquet on the stock of the rifle as well. Of course, I do have a plate carrier with 3 mags in it. But, I might not have that ability to quickly don that plate carrier and then get the rifle. I may just have enough time to grab the rifle and go towards the threat.
I'm sure you just show me reloaded my rifle. Alright. That fucker nearly hit me, dude.
I don't know what song is playing in the background, but it sounds good. So it looks like they have deployed a drone to go search for this guy. There's a... I don't know what all that crap is. That's a bunch of just random shit laying around. Yeah, his own little golf course out there. That's a fucking mess. Like, holy shit. Oh, that's cool. So he's got a rifle that looks like the profile of an AK. I'll back this up a little bit more. So he's got... This looks like ammo. Yeah, this looks like ammunition right here. This just looks like tools, maybe. Johnny Cash. Potentially an ammo can, maybe. Not really sure. This looks like possibly rifle casings right here. His whole little fucking golf course. That's interesting. So drones are pretty damn... What the fuck they do? Well, this is a fire pit that he's obviously used to set all kinds of random shit on fire. What the fuck? This dude is not all there. Damn. I mean, this is kind of a nice property. This dude's just completely fucked it all up, though. So I guess obviously he's laying right there because they got the blur box right here. I hate when they do that shit. So you can see it. It looks like he's face down. Let me back that up, maybe. Well, I hate when the fucking mouse on this damn thing does that. Yeah, so it looks like he's laying face down. You can see what looks like the heels of his feet right there. So I guess whenever he shot over the top of that fence, they returned fire, hit him. He turned to move away and then collapsed right there. But drones are really cool because they can give you the ability to. They're throwing a NFDD over there. So I guess what they've done at this point is they're using the drone to see where he's at before they move up. They're throwing a noise flash diversionary device, aka flashbang, into this space over here to see what kind of reaction they can get out of him right here. Now, of course, we can't see the reaction because they got the damn sensor box over it. But whoever's operating the drone would be able to see if this guy reacts to that explosion going off near him. I like that kind of tactic. I think that's a good way before making an approach on someone. I've also seen deploying beanbags or 40 millimeter impact munitions on someone to see if they react to it. I've seen K9 being released. Those are good options before putting people right on top of a potential threat that could try and kill you. See if there's a reaction out of them. If there is, then you have standoff. Keep that standoff. Stay behind cover. Issue those verbal commands to get compliance out of them. And if they don't comply, then you can continue using less lethal to try and gain compliance out of them. But yeah, drones are pretty cool because that gives you an advantage of putting that piece of equipment at risk of being destroyed versus a human. So it's almost like having a mini helicopter in a way to be able to provide air support. You can fly that drone around, search around, see what's going on, and no one has to be at risk. I've seen some footage of a door to the house was already open, is either already open or got breached. But they sent a drone to fly through the house. Like it flew through the living room, it flew through the fucking hallway, and then it went into a bedroom where a person was at. And they found that person had died from a gunshot wound. I can't remember if they died from being shot by the police or if it was self-inflicted, but they were able to send the drone flying through the house to search it so that they didn't have to send anybody inside. That's cool. Drones are expensive, but drones are something that I see becoming more popular because of that right there. You take away the risk of injuring people or people being killed. And also, same for the dogs. You don't have to send a dog in and risk the dog being seriously injured or killed. You just send the drone in, and if the drone gets damaged, guess what? Insurance claim, you get you another one. That simple. You don't have to spend all that time training a new dog, having that new dog, even though it comes from the provider being trained. You still have to have that training process to have it paired with the handler. That takes a while. So you eliminate that shit. Eliminate the hiring process for a new person, right? To have a new officer hit the street takes over a fucking year for them to be able to be on the street by themselves doing calls on their own. A drone, once a person's trained on a drone and that thing gets destroyed, all you got to do is buy a new one. They already know how to operate it. As soon as it comes in, boom, it gets straight to work. So I'm assuming they're backing off to go look at the footage and talk to the operator and be like, all right, what'd you see? So it looks like they're looking at how this gate opens. They're zooming in, figuring out how it's going to open. All this water flowing, I'm assuming this was probably hit by gunfire. Luckily for this guy, I don't think he's going to have to worry about the water bill. So that's probably what they're, back that up, that's probably what they're doing at the back of the truck. They're probably looking at the footage, talking to the operator, seeing what was going on, and then devising a plan on how they're going to get in there and get a hold of this guy. So he's having to put something like a wedge within this door. So I guess it's got a spring or something that makes it shut on its own. Let me back that up again. So that's a dog they've released on him. I guess they're releasing the dog to get a reaction. Then they move in to get a hold of him. So I'm assuming this guy down here is covering a window or something, or this could be the corner. They don't know if there's anyone else inside the house. He might have a girlfriend that's just as fucking crazy as him or something. So they're still maintaining cover in case there's another threat. So he's maintaining security on their, I wouldn't call it, I guess they're six, but their other side here, making sure that no one comes around and gets them from this angle over here. So I would suspect that once they took control of him and moved him out, they probably went in and cleared the house as well after this. Went in and done a protective sweep. Five, four. So given that they're all moving out, that kind of tells me that they've probably recognized the fact that he is deceased and beyond being worked on. I guess there's obvious signs of non-resuscitable death. Could be that there's a, big ass rifle hole in his head or something. I don't know. But the fact that they're walking away and they're not rendering any kind of aid tells me that it's obvious signs of death, like this guy's not coming back. See the shadow of the drone right there. You can look over here in this parking lot. Fire truck. That looks like a command post or something. So that could be where the drone's being flown from. Who knows? But that looks like probably a staging area for other personnel for the scene here. You see two guys over here on perimeter, probably watching that fence in case he would have jumped over it. Oh yeah, it's got to be, the operator's got to be over here somewhere. Yep, the drone's flying back home. So that's, oh yeah, you can see the tents over here. So yeah, a little command area over here, and they got another little tent over there. So I'd say this is where the drone's being operated from. Looks like this is probably a school. Don't know. All right, so that is, well, hold on. That's not it. Let me go back into this article because the article had some interesting stuff in it. And of course, let me go back into it. I already backed out of it. All right, critical incident videos, blah, blah, blah. Simmons' bizarre behavior. They meet him, blah, blah, blah. So it mentions that officers notify the neighborhood the shelter in place. The Maricopa Unified School District is alerted and places Butterfield Elementary School a block away on lockdown as a precaution. So that was a school. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Simmons was taken into custody 2 weeks before his death after rushing past the front desk at Copper Sky Gym Complex and beginning to work out despite not having a paid membership. He was charged with criminal trespass and theft of services and booked into Pinal County Jail. He had been involved in a similar trespassing incident at the gym on March 19. 2 days before his death, at about 9:20 a.m. on August 27, Simmons was seen shirtless in northbound lanes of John Wayne Parkway near West Altera Parkway, throwing his shirt at passing vehicles. Simmons was also observed making sporadic movements toward the moving vehicles, causing several to swerve. Soon after, Simmons was seen sprinting northbound down the sidewalk on Plainview Street as Maricopa police followed in cruisers before crossing Honeycutt Road toward his home. Neighbors, who asked not to be identified, said Simmons had a history of walking up and down the street, throwing his clothes and yelling obscenities. His Facebook page was filled with obscenity-laced posts and photos with obscene gestures. He repeatedly posted that he was going to take on Conor McGregor, an Irish professional mixed martial arts fighter who was former Ultimate Fighting Championship featherweight and lightweight champion. Simmons also made repeated threats toward nationally known podcaster Joe Rogan. Simmons' page said that he is from Idaho Falls, Idaho. Excuse me. Family members in Idaho have contacted in Maricopa since the incident, painting a different picture of Simmons. They say he once went on a mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, had a generous heart, gave to others less fortunate, and was happy, fun-loving, and hard-working. Records show Simmons filed suit in 2014 alleging Battelle Energy Alliance in Idaho knowingly exposed workers to radiation at an Idaho nuclear facility where he once worked as a nuclear operator, regularly handling plutonium and other radioactive materials. Simmons alleged he was exposed to radioactive dust while repackaging fuel plates at the Idaho National Laboratory on November 8, 2011. He and other workers came across damaged plates wrapped in plastic and tape. Simmons alleged he was told to repackage the plates but stopped when he saw black powder falling from the wrapped fuel plate. The events precipitated an uncontrolled release of radioactive material, resulting in the contamination of 16 workers in the facility, Simmons said in his lawsuit. Family members have said that they believe his exposure to radioactive plutonium-239, a carcinogen, caused Simmons' personality change. So that's an interesting bit of information there. I'm no nuclear expert or anything, but I do know it's shit that you do not want to fuck with. And if, he was exposed to some of this stuff and it caused some irreversible changes for him, then that sucks. If that is the case, then hopefully his family can get a nice little settlement from that company. Because if that is the case, if that is true, if that is accurate, then I would consider this almost to be a work-related death, work-related accident. He may not have been working for them at the time, but he got, quote-unquote, injured at work from that exposure to radiation and ended up causing this to happen. Someone like this, obviously, I don't think would have been able to get hired into a job like that. One, the interview phase. If this dude was acting like this, there's no way he would have passed the interview phase. And then secondly, the fucking security clearances you got to go through to work with anything nuclear are out there. So any shit in his background they would have immediately seen and been like, hell no, you ain't getting fucking hired, you crazy son of a bitch. So obviously he had to have had a good, clean record before ever being allowed to work in a nuclear facility or a place that deals with that. Again, like I said, the security stuff for it is high. Like, you got to get clearances, you got to have top secret clearance. I mean, it's not a regular job application process. The security over nuclear stuff is very, very high. So I just don't see any way this guy acting as bizarre as he was now being like that before he got hired, because they would have noticed that, they would have seen that in the background investigation, and that would have prevented him from being hired. So I do kind of believe the family on this one. A lot of times the family, they want to talk about, in these incidents, families always talking about fucking mental health and, it wasn't him, that's not how he is, blah, blah, blah. This is probably one of the only times I could actually be like, you know what, the family's really being truthful here. Like, they're just not making up excuses to excuse their shithead family member. Like, this is probably legit. This dude probably had an exposure to radioactive material, and it affected him. Probably caused some irreversible damage within his brain. Probably within his body, too. Other organs and stuff. So, sucks. Alright, that's it. If you like what you hear and see, go ahead and give me a like and a share. If you have not already, hit the subscribe button and stay tuned for more Monday quarterback videos. Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching.